Hello, 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 people. All right. So I'm just going to wait a few more minutes to let people kind of funnel in here. But for right now, we're going to have me and Caleb. Um, Welcome, Caleb. Thank you for coming on here.
I don't want to talk to you, bro.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All
How
right.
you doing, Michael?
All right. So new edition today, guys. This is going to be something new that I've never done before, but there's going to be a scannable QR code on the bottom right-hand corner, which I'll pop up right now. If you scan this will allow you to go to a sign up page and you'll be able to download the free ebook that I've written out. Feel free to give me any comments you have on it after you've read it or while you're reading it. Just feel free to reach out to me. I would love to hear your feedback if you've gained any insight from it, etc. I want to hear what you guys have to think about it. So do let me know. Do scan. It's also in my bio on LinkedIn. If you want to download it as well, there's a link you can go through there as well if you don't want to scan the QR code or you can't. Link is in my bio. With that being said, Caleb, how's your week going so far?
It's going well, man. I think we're really getting into the swing of things, and it's been fun for sure.
Have you?
I can't move my neck. I was playing pickleball, and I just I've never heard of like a neck injury from pickleball, but I mean,
maybe if you're like swinging a little too hard and you come over the side, you're really excited for that point.
My neck's been like that for 3 days, and I still played yesterday. I don't even know where it came from, but it's getting worse. I got a massage on Tuesday, and I think they made it worse too.
That's not good.
I know, man. It's tough, but we're here. We're here in the Grobot cave with all my stuff on the floor. I need to start getting some shelving in here pretty soon. New place though, so I have a little bit of an excuse.
Yeah, right. You have that excuse is valid for what, like 2 months? Then you're like, all right, then it's been long enough.
I think the excuse is valid for 6 months.
Oh, that's it.
Then after that, you're just a slob and need to get a life.
Oh, what was that?
How's it been for you, man?
Can't complain. I mean, I've been able to go to the gym like every day this week, and it hasn't been like slam busy, so I really can't complain. Because usually it's so busy where I'm like have to wait for a machine. Oh, I was going to do the pec deck. Where you like grab the handles, you fly through forward. There's a guy already on it. And I was like, hey, man, how many sets do you have left? He was like, I just sat down. I got like 3 more. I was like, oh, okay, no worries. And he was like, but you can work in with me if you want. I was like, awesome. I'd love to, if you don't mind. He was like, yeah, sure. After one set, he was like, yeah, I'm not feeling this. I'm going to go walk away now. I was like, oh, okay. All right, bye. I was like, that's really weird that you announced that you're walking away. But, I mean, more power to you.
I mean, it's better than he just walked away.
I'd almost rather that because I'd be a little confused then. I was just like, okay. I was like, hey, if you don't feel it, you don't feel it.
No, I prefer whatever he did, man. I mean, there's more context to that. If he just like walked away, I'd be like,
I feel like that'd be a great story. Like he just walks away. Oh, okay, bye.
No, I actually have a gym story of when there was this guy who said, oh yeah, you can work in with me, but he was like, you know those people that just exude sweat, like they're just wet, like they're just a wet blanket, like they're a wet blanket, literally, not the figurative term. And I'm like, I just said no because I was like, oh yeah, I'd be down. And then he got up and I just saw the bench, eyes get big, and you're just like, I actually
have to go.
I left my pre-workout in the car. I'll be right back. So
me and Carson are kind of that way. We sweat a good bit. So I kind of feel for him. I do. I can't speak on that too much. My head gets really sweaty. And my hands. I have like super clammy hands.
I don't bring towels though. So
all right, I don't either. I don't. I can't do that.
Sorry, it's the last time I'll get up. I got some content filming over there. I got content right here.
Okay.
I'm gonna build out those profiles a little bit.
All right. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and get us started here. Thank you for everyone that is here. So first off, welcome to your LinkedIn Bootcamp. If you've been on LinkedIn for any amount of time, you know that social selling on absolutely any platform can be tough to master, even for the most experienced sales professionals. The results, if you do things right, will not be matched anywhere else. That's why we've put together this bootcamp. This is specifically designed for B2B salespeople. In this roughly hour-long course, you'll learn the basics that you'll need to know about selling on LinkedIn. Think of this as your LinkedIn 101, from how to create an effective profile to how to use LinkedIn search tools to find potential customers. In the future, we will be putting together a series of 201 trainings on how to use specific features on the platform more effectively. But for right now, I'll be covering a lot of the topics in very short amount of times as more of a 10,000 foot view. So if you're ready to take your sales results to the next level, I'll give you the DL. Also, we both, Caleb and I, will be answering questions at the end and at some points throughout these slides. So if you have any questions on a certain slide or topic, go ahead and put them in the chat and I'll answer them along the way. I may also have some questions that I just ask Caleb, get his input. So to maximize your chances of success with social selling and direct selling on LinkedIn, there are a few key things that we are going to cover in today's session. Why LinkedIn? Social selling on LinkedIn. How can social selling be used on LinkedIn? Winning profile tips, things to keep in mind, how to prospect on LinkedIn, and resources to consider. Now, in today's digital age, your online presence is more important than ever before. Potential employers or prospects will often do a quick just Google search or social media search for your name before they consider replying or even giving you the time of day, to be honest. So your social media accounts can provide them with these insights into your personality, into your character. And LinkedIn is one of the more important social media platforms, especially if you're a professional. It's very important to make sure that your profile accurately reflects who you are and what you're looking for. The days when you could simply just list your previous job titles and education are behind us. Now, LinkedIn is all about building relationships and networking. So by adding these interesting articles or joining relevant groups or engaging in discussions, you can show these potential prospects that you're someone who is worth doing business with. In short, LinkedIn is no longer an online resume. It's your digital reputation, just like Jill Riley said here. Now, these are some very powerful statistics that you should know about LinkedIn. I'm only going to highlight a few because I don't want to sound like I'm just reading them all off. But 48.5% of users in the US use LinkedIn at least once a month. Marketers see up to a 2 times higher conversion rate on LinkedIn. And 40% of B2B marketers surveyed indicated that LinkedIn is the most effective channel for driving high quality leads. So LinkedIn is the world's largest professional network with over 640 million users in over 200 in more than 200 countries and regions. So it's more powerful than any platform. It's more effective than any platform, and it's really powerful for building these relationships, finding jobs, driving sales. These are just some of the things we can point out when we talk about LinkedIn and the capabilities that it has. And we're only talking about some of them, not even all of them.
And I also want you to not forget about B2C,
Right.
companies as well.
Right.
When it comes to B2B selling on LinkedIn, right, and you're trying to either build a partnership or maybe even try to find, a client on LinkedIn, you'll find that a lot of people that also sell their products on the e-commerce side, they still post about their business because they're business owners that are super proud and excited about sharing the latest and next step of, their brand. They might not be selling, if they're selling Coca-Cola, they're not going to actually be selling Coke on LinkedIn, Coca-Cola on LinkedIn.
Be pretty catchy though. I mean,
Coca-Cola on LinkedIn, rather. I don't want to just saying selling Coke online, but I have a lot of friends that are in the CPG space that talk about, super cool things like Costco just allowed us to sell our product and we just killed, the sales goal at Costco. So if your ideal client is still in the B2C space, you just need to, first of all, understand like what solution and problems you could solve for them. And then post relevant content that kind of caters to them and build those relationships on LinkedIn. Don't sleep on, commenting on these people's successes and say, hey, dude, that's super exciting, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't always have to have like, that's super exciting. By the way, I have a solution that does X, Y, and Z. Like try to also build relationships in the sense of like, hey, first name, that's super exciting. By the way, I have a buddy who owns he owns their franchises, a store that you could also sell your product at. Happy to make the introduction. And then you've given them value outside of that. So don't sleep on the people on the B2C side. You just need to have a strategic approach to being able to talk to those people.
Yeah. And, always think of the 4-1-1 rule, anytime you post one promotional piece of content, you need to have 4 reposts and 1 uplifting, inspiring, motivational, etc. post, the 4-1-1 balance. That's really important to think about as well if you want to even promote yourself. So thank you for that. So in B2B selling on LinkedIn, This is a very powerful way to connect with these potential customers and to grow your business. LinkedIn is and will always will be a professional networking site with over 560 million users worldwide, making it a very easy platform for B2B selling. So when it's done right, your B2B selling on LinkedIn will be extremely effective and will be very good at targeting and closing these deals. So you can reach this large audience, and you can build trust and credibility. You can also generate leads. You can do all these things on just one platform. So you really want to make sure you're investing the right pieces into the platform. So if you're looking for an effective way to reach your target market, grow your business, and to just B2B sell, LinkedIn is definitely worth considering. And, we even talk about make sure your content speaks to who you're talking to. Make sure it reaches the audiences. I think last week when we had done this, Kayla made a great point on this. When you are making your content, you want to make sure it speaks to that exact persona. Because if it doesn't, it's like you're trying to just stare at paint. It's never going to change. You're not speaking to this. The paint on the wall is never going to dry. It's just going to stay wet forever because it takes you so freaking long. Like no one's going to read your little crappy thing you put out. It's all, hey, I just closed this $40 million deal. Oh, congratulations. Yeah, no one cares, right?
Or those posts, like, again, it comes to being strategic about it, right? Like a company post should just be talking about your company. Like
right.
Like anything you've done successfully, those, stereotypical Canva, pictures for, we just did this, we just got this award, we just sold this company, we acquired this business. That should be on your company page. And then on your personal branding side, you should be reposting that onto your profile. But if you're just posting that same stuff, I guarantee you're going to get maybe one like on that, because it's like, okay, cool. Like I'm glad that you're doing, I'm glad that you sold that or whatever. But if you actually, have engaging posts like polls, right? Like, hey, like, I don't know, pancakes or waffles or something like that. Sometimes it's super dumb. And then other times it actually, is relevant to what you're actually selling and your purpose. Or maybe you're trying to hit your fitness goals and you want to show that with your LinkedIn community. Like you can do that. People feel like they can't, but at the end of the day, if you have a picture of like your life and then you have something motivational that you've written out under it or chat GPT it, I don't know, I would prefer to actually write it out myself. But there's this one guy that I know, he just did a bodybuilding competition. He's like 55 years old. The guy is jacked. And he showed us his whole progression on how he did all of that. And every single message under it was something motivational. And then also talked about like his company and like what he's also doing with that. And I thought that was really cool. I love that dude. Shout out Chris Hunter. He's
the name drop goes crazy.
He won't watch this. It's
yeah. I'm going to send it to him specifically now. So social selling is the practice of using social media to build relationships and to close sales. In a world where nearly everyone is online, social selling provides an efficient and very effective way to reach these potential customers. And LinkedIn is the perfect platform for social selling. Thanks to its very large user base of professionals, this allows you to connect with these potential customers and your clients. So sharing your experience and building that trust and credibility at the same time. So when this is done correctly, social selling is a super powerful tool for closing deals and for growing your business. And like Kayla was just saying, when you're making these small interactive posts, you're building that trust. Anyone, what's the, math equation that more time invested, the more someone invests time into something, the less they want to let it go. So even if it's simply clicking on something or just kind of engaging with you guys, you're building that trust. Like you're building that time, and time over attention, just like a muscle. The more you work it out, the stronger it becomes. Same thing for all relationships. The more you work out the muscle, the stronger that relationship becomes. So you just do small interactive things. You reach out with a message, any kind of that stuff that goes a long way in building that relationship. So by building these relationships and engaging with these potential customers on LinkedIn, you guys can then generate leads and drive sales. However, simply having this presence on LinkedIn is not enough to succeed at social selling. So to be effective in sales, you guys need to make sure you're using strategies that are specifically designed for this platform. For example, you can focus on creating high quality content that is tailored to your target audience. And also make sure that you participate in relevant LinkedIn groups. actively connect with other users. By using these ideas and other strategies are fine as well. Sales professionals can maximize your chances of success when selling on LinkedIn. In other words, things that work on Facebook are not going to work on LinkedIn. Things that work on Instagram and Twitter, not going to work on LinkedIn. Like every platform has a different strategy, and you need to make sure that you're using it effectively. So, and remember, the whole goal is building these relationships and pushing that sale to the next piece, getting them in that meeting, get that conversation started. That's what really LinkedIn's for, is that professional networking. So now going on to the next part of this, building a professional brand. So here are just a few tips I'd like to give people. Start with making a strong profile. Be active and engaging. Showcase your work, make connections, and most importantly, be consistent. So LinkedIn, it does provide you an excellent opportunity to build your brand and expand your network by creating a profile that highlights your skills and your experience. And you can even attract the potential employers, clients, or business partners through this. LinkedIn also offers a number of features that can help you further promote your brand. For example, you can join a relevant group, participate in the discussions, and post articles on your profile. By taking advantage of some of these simple practices, you can position yourself as an expert in your field and build this strong professional brand where people can see, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's talked to so-and-so person. I've seen so-and-so post. I've seen him have a conversation in these groups. Oh, he's a part of this group. Well, I know that group very well. I know XYZ person in there. Like anytime you can get yourself in that position where you are a thought leader, it'll be that much easier for you to propel yourself forward. And even to continue on in that, in today's competitive marketplace, it's more important than ever that you stand out from the crowd. One way to do this is to develop that personal brand. A personal brand, in short, is a sum of who you are as a professional, your values, judgments, experiences, insights, your expertise, and even your personality needs to come out in this. If you're known for your integrity, your insight, or your sense of humor, these are all really easy ways to build that trust and to build the attraction. So in addition to a strong personal brand, when it's done right, this will help you advance your career goals. It'll help you advance your personal goals. So if you're looking to take that career or your personal goals to that next level, start by developing this personal brand. And just most importantly, be authentic while you're doing it. You don't want to be fake about it. You want to let the best of yourself show in these moments. So this is an old picture from my profile. I will not lie to you guys. This is a little old, but it still rings true to who I am today. So I talk a lot about B2B marketing, a lot. I talk a lot about done-for-you automation. I talk a lot about lead generation. Like I try to help everyone as much as I can. These are all very true things that I think about, that I talk about. If you go to my bio, it's changed a little bit, but I still got a pun in there. I still like to talk about what I like to do. I like to give insight. I love to help people as much as I can. I think Caleb even goes through his profile quite a bit to make sure his About Me section even goes to and talks about the strengths of what he likes to help people do. It's the same exact way. You always need to make sure it's up to date. Make sure that your personality's in there. If you like to make a lot of jokes, throw some jokes in there. Like whatever you want to do, make sure it's a part of that. If people can read personality, they'll grow that kind of connection there. And that's always what you want to aim to do.
And make sure it has a purpose as well, right? So you can do all you want. You can make jokes and all of these different things, but there's also a purpose as you start reading the About Me section. You want to engage people to actually read it, but then as you continue going down, you start to see not only things about yourself, about your personal brand, but then about things about your company that like most people wouldn't even really consider. We're in the lead generation space, and one of our struggles is that there's a lot of people in the lead generation space. Most of them tend to just give you lead lists and like hope for the best. They're more of like a data center, right? So they're just a data center. They go scrub leads from X and X technology and make you pay $1,000 for like 10,000 leads, right? We, on the other hand, are more consultative, right? So we do have a platform, but we don't focus on the platform. We're just powered by it. And so our platform does a lot of really cool stuff, and I'd love to talk to you guys about that. But when we're consulting with people, a lot of prospects or people that we talk to tend to have this idea that we're trying to sell them like this lead service and all these different things. And our goal is really just to see like, what issues are you having? How much is it costing you? How much does it cost you with your current solution? Can we make that easier? Can we give you a cheaper price and fixing that problem and other things like that?
Yeah.
As you start going down my about section, you start to see that I start touching up on some of those points. And then there's a solution. It's like, hey, come talk to me, right? Or like schedule a time to talk to me, call me on my phone. I put my personal phone number on my LinkedIn, which I don't recommend doing if you're not a business owner, but that's what I do because I want to have that actual conversation with you because at the end of the day, I don't know if I can help you yet. I have zero clue if I can help you yet, and I'm not going to assume that I can until we've had that connection, we have that conversation. So when you're building out those profiles for yourself, also make sure that you're not like in their face vomit, like I can sell you this, I can throw this at you and all these different things. Become inviting. Be very inviting as you're coming down. Like these are the problems that I solve. If you have these same problems, feel free to reach out to me or don't, right? I mean, or don't. So that's kind of my
Being
tip.
honest. Yeah, 100%. I think being honest is a big part of that, right? It's like, listen, I'm not going to try to sell you on something that you don't need. Like, there's no reason for me to do that. So I do agree. I think being honest and being open about it is pretty powerful. So one of the more common mistakes that we see is that people use this site as a way to boast about the sales. So your LinkedIn profile is not a place to brag about how many deals you've closed or how much money you've made for your company. Instead, it should be a way to connect with other professionals, share valuable information, do these things to build that community, build that trust. If you fill your profile with this self-promotional content, you are going to turn off these potential connections. So instead, focus on providing this value add, by sharing your expertise and your insights. By taking that approach, you'll be more likely to attract the attention for potential employers and clients. And that's truly what LinkedIn's for.
And that is, again, why it's important. Have a company page, have a personal page. I see too many people, especially, in the professional services, because they just joined LinkedIn, they just want to have a profile, or they'll make their personal profile their company profile. And like, no, personal branding is totally different than company branding.
Yep.
It's a totally different thing. And we actually have a workshop that we could help you out with some of that and just like formulating some of those ideas. But it's essential. It's essential to get that right, because if you're going to start posting, again, that's why I say post all your promotional content on your company page. That's what it's for. It's all about your company, about how awesome you are. Your personal brand is who you are as an individual and how you resonate with people. So that's very important. Make sure that your personal profile isn't acting as your company profile as well.
Yeah. 100%. They definitely need to be conglomerate, but they also need to be separate. They need to, say the same things, mean the same thing, but they need to be different. One's promotional, one's not. One's business, one's personal. They need to be separate. So another thing we need to talk about heavily is LinkedIn headlines. So your LinkedIn headline is one of the first things people are going to see when they visit your profile. So in just a few words, it has the potential to make a strong impression and encourage people to learn more about you. But what makes a great LinkedIn headline? Well, there's no magic formula, but I'm going to try to give you a formula that kind of works as a very general practice, and then you'll refine it to whatever works best for you. So there are a few elements that we can help to ensure that your headline makes this positive impact. Firstly, focus on making it clear and concise. You don't want it to be super long. Make it short and simple, sweet, to the point. So avoid using jargon or buzzwords and stick to language that can be pretty easily understood by your target audience. For your benefit, I've put together this very simple formula. It's on the screen right now. Your title, years of experience serving in whatever industry or vertical you're in, and then your unique value, strength, or a value prop. Reason this is so simple and so easy to do, or why I would say to do this, is because it shows off who you are, what you're about, and whatever you can offer people. And you also get to throw in some of your personality in there as well. So secondly, make sure that your headline accurately reflects what you do, who you are. Just be genuine, be authentic. Resist that temptation to exaggerate or make these false claims. Lastly, keep it up to date. Regularly revise your headline to make sure it stays relevant. If you can make a headline that'll forever be true to you, for sure, keep using it. I think it's very hard to do, but I do think that some people have the power to create that headline that goes on forever for them. I've had mine for 6 months now. Well, that's not true. I changed it a few months ago. I've probably had my headline for about 2 months now. So if you can create one that sticks with you forever, that's totally fine. So here are some pretty good examples. I like these. The ones on the last slide are okay, but like I said, this is the formula that everyone's going to use. This is the formula that you shouldn't use if you don't know how to do it. But this is next level stuff here. A witty wordsmith who loves helping tech startups, ghostwriter and content strategist. I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
Avid traveler and coffee lover, business development at a tech startup, or graphic design maven with a passion for fashion. That to me is great. Like they took the time to think about this. That to me is great. That's going to stand out to me a lot more than any of the other ones where you talk about how much you've done something, right? Like that to me is going to mean so much more. All right. Headline examples. These are some more ones. Loud introvert with the big mission. Teach 1 billion people how to make a living doing what they love. Not going to lie, when I first read that, when I was doing this presentation for the first time, thought it said 18 people. I was like, so you only showed 18 people how to do what they love? That is, I don't know if I'd brag about that, but then I was like, oh wait, that says 1 billion. So I took a picture of it because I thought it was good. A brand strategist, energetic speaker, foodie, and proud dad. Really easy. You know what he's about? Short and concise. I like to do these little, as you can tell, I like these little breaks in between. Some people like commas. It's really up to you, whatever you like doing. All right, now the About Me section. I know that me and Caleb kind of touched on this earlier, but this is a really important section. So your LinkedIn profile is like your digital resume. It's one of the first places your prospects are going to look to learn more about you, and that's why it's so important to make that great first impression. You know, one way to do this is by crafting an engaging, keyword-rich summary about you in your About section of the profile. So start by introducing yourself, briefly mentioning your current offering and your most recent experience and results. Yep. Then highlight your key strengths and accomplishments. Be sure to use specific examples and a little bit of persuasive language to sell yourself as the best or most ideal partner. Now, you want to end with a call to action. I like to have my calendar, my email, my phone number in there. Just like Caleb, I put my phone number out there. You don't have to, but I enjoy doing it because it gives it opens another door for people to reach out to me, basically. And by taking the time to create this standout summary, you'll be a step closer to landing that target audience. Again, you can just invite the reader to connect with you, learn more about your work, throw your email, your calendar link, your phone number, all that stuff down there so they feel like they can reach out to you. That's a really easy way to just make yourself stand out. Now, your profile picture. Before we get into this, I did see a question over here. So someone asked, why do you think headlines are so important? So Caleb, do you want to answer that one? Or do you want me to take that?
Yeah, no, headlines are super important because it's a summary of what you're going to be talking about on the rest of your profile, right? So as you're trying to, the first thing that I'm looking at, especially on my phone, is I'm going to look at the profile picture, and right under it, I'm going to look at the headline. Those are the first two things that you see. And, what we've learned from not only just data from all the, companies that we've worked with and the profiles that we've optimized, we actually have a checklist that we can provide to you as well, just so you can go through all these different things. But from all the data that we have, we've noticed that it really only takes about 3 seconds, really less, to make a first impression. And so that's why it's super important. And we'll go through the profile pictures and some of the do's and don'ts of it. But having a good profile picture that sets you apart, but is also professional, as well as having a headline that just summarizes like who you are as a business professional, or even just who you are as a person. When I was working as a business development representative, I said that I was a business development ninja, right? And then I changed it to Swiss Army knife of business development because I started doing other things and just booking meetings. I started booking meetings and selling and integrating a bunch of different tools. And now as a professional, now as a business owner, it'll definitely be different. So yeah, it's you have to update it every once in a while, just depending on where you are at. But it's a good summary. It's a really good summary on just who you are and what you do. And then it might even intrigue people to learn a little bit more and scroll down further.
What do you think is the biggest mistake you see people make in their headlines?
Oh gosh, I think some of the bigger mistakes that people make on their headlines is a lot of them are just like VP of sales at X and X company. It doesn't really tell me anything. It just tells me what your title is, and I can scroll down and see what your title is.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will either do that, or like maybe it'll just do something that's corny that it just isn't relevant to anything. It's just like, I mean, I guess you could put I'm a cat dad on there. It
I
could be,
knew you were going to the cat example of that.
but like, cat dad. I think that's funny, but it doesn't really talk to like what you
Who you
do,
are. Yeah.
right? So there's a delicate balance between those things, unless it works for you. If every picture you have, if you're like I think I used this example last week. If you own a pet food store,
Mhm.
right, then you could be like, you could literally put like, I own 7 cats, I own 15 cats, and people would look at that and be like, who the heck is this dude?
Yeah.
Right. So it really just depends on like what your brand is and what you're basing your brand off of. But that headline's super important. And I've seen a ton of different examples that just make zero sense, or like there's none at all. The biggest mistake you can have is not having one at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think the biggest mistake that I see a lot of people make is they just don't have one. And I'm like, it's really easy to make one. Like if you can't make one, go to ChatGPT. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the best, but it's going to be better than nothing. I agree. So profile picture. This is another really big step. So first, use a professional headshot. No selfies, no vacation photos here. Show off your best side. Have a big, genuine smile. Make direct eye contact with the camera. All the normal things you would do for any kind of picture. It's also important to dress in this business casual attire. Nothing too fancy, but still remember appropriate for the workplace. So choose a neutral background that won't draw this unnecessary attention away from you. Also ensure your photo has been edited for this technical quality before uploading it. And last week we even talked about getting rid of the pixels. Like every phone has this. It has some sort of service, and it doesn't. I guarantee you there's free apps out there that will make sure it's not pixelated. So just make sure it's a good quality picture, please. It looks like it's fake or stolen whenever it's a little pixelated or doesn't look like you really took the picture. So following these tips will ensure that you maintain a professional presence on LinkedIn and create an engaging profile that people won't forget. So again, really in these bullet points here, professional headshot, smile, eye contact, dress business casual, neutral background, edit the photo. Just make sure it doesn't look crazy bad. So the good, the bad, the ugly. So let's start by looking at some of the most common mistakes that people make when taking their profile picture. So first off, don't just use a selfie. Just like I said, this is not the place for that. This is LinkedIn. This is professional. Choose a nice photo. You need to look professional. You need to look like you understand what you're doing here. The next thing to avoid is using any type of filter on your photos. They may make you stand out, but you're going to stand out for the wrong reasons. I promise. It's also going to hurt your credibility. So just don't do it. Finally, do not do not take your photo and sign that it's you're holding a cat. Don't hold an animal. Don't do it unless like the only leeway you're going to get here is if like you have a cat food brand or something around animals. Then I feel like, okay, you have a little bit of leeway in bringing your cat into frame or any animal. But if that is not your brand or your company's brand, don't do it. It's not the place for it. Like, don't do it. Just really easy, simple photo here.
And my advice here too is like, it really, again, it depends on like what your goal is. I know some people on LinkedIn, they're out there. I mean, they are out there, and like the pictures that they post, there's this guy, Jake Carl from Midday Squares. If you have not checked that guy out, he is a character and a half. I love that dude. His profile picture, he's wearing like that 70s gangster, get up, the cheetah print with the hat, but that's his brand. He goes to different stores. He's dancing with the workers at the stores where his candy, but he does chocolate, where his chocolate bars on the shelves are. So he's doing like this like awesome dance. All of his commercials are like video based. Like it was like a WWE Super Slam of like Hershey's versus Midday Squares. Like that's his brand, and that's what he's doing. But if you're going to be that far out there, you have to commit. So I'm totally down. Like if you have a costume store and you're wearing like a Batman costume with like a tie on it or something like that, but that's your brand. Your headline is like costume store owner. That's where the headline matters. You got the picture. If you're going to be out there, then your headline needs to tell like why you are dressed like Batman, right?
Yeah, it really does. Otherwise, you're not going to get anyone to click on that profile.
Exactly. Or too many people will click on it for the wrong reasons. But that's that's where we're at. So like if you
Get a
want
lot
to
of
use
traffic
these,
at least. I mean,
I still don't think you're gonna have like a selfie, like that selfie. I don't think is gonna work unless you have one of those I don't know, selfie stick brands or whatever, and you're trying to say like this is the kind of picture
yeah.
that you're gonna have if you don't have my selfie stick. So those are different things that will bring validity to those points. But yeah, if you're gonna be out there, then your brand better be out there, or
Yeah,
just
your whole branding
commit
needs
to
to be
it.
around that.
Commit. Either be a professional or commit to not being professional to then be a professional,
Yeah.
being not a professional. Like you just got to do it.
Yeah, 100%. Kind of going off what Caleb said, don't go for the crop out picture like you see here in the middle. Make it a real picture that you have full intentions of using the picture for your LinkedIn or for a profile picture in general. Don't crop it out from some other photo. Like make it professional. It's really easy to do. Now, this is a very underutilized part of LinkedIn that I see so many people not using. So if you've ever wondered what the featured section is on LinkedIn, I'm going to give you a couple reasons why this tool can be pretty beneficial for social selling. Reason one, the feature section allows you to highlight the content that is specific to your industry or your field of expertise. So this makes it really easy for these potential employers and potential clients to find this relevant information about what you do and how you can help them. It also will showcase your best work in the featured section. Like you need to showcase your best work in the featured section. This will help people visually understand your skills and your capabilities. It'll also give them an idea of like what they can expect from working with you. And most people don't use this feature. So if you do, your profile is definitely going to stand out. You're going to look for that competitive edge. This is one of those competitive edges. A lot of people don't utilize this section, and it's really easy to make yourself stand out in this way. Just make some good looking pictures. It doesn't take that much work. And if it does, spend a lot of time on two of them. Have two really good ones. Don't have a lot of mediocre ones. Have two really good ones. Make sure that you actually put your best foot forward because this is going to stand out a lot to people. This is very prominent on your profile when you scroll through it. So make sure you put work on there. Don't leave this blank. Put something there. It's going to make you stand out amongst the competition. Recommendations. So I also love this one. So one of the most important things you can do is request recommendations from your current clients. These recommendations should speak to your skills, experience, and results in order to give those potential employers a better idea of who you are as a professional. So don't be afraid to ask your contacts and clients for recommendations and make sure to include them in your profile. This will help you stand out from other candidates and show that you're serious about your professional career. Now, when you ask for them, people are going to get a notification from you. Once you send them the thing, they get the notification, they write it out, they send it back to you. You have to approve and post it on your own profile. So you need to make sure you're accepting that because if they send it to you and you're not using it, you're kind of just wasting their time. So don't do that. Make sure you throw it on there because the more you can have, the more professional you're going to look, and it's going to help you go a lot further. So how to prospect on LinkedIn. So one of the more effective ways to prospect for these potential customers is through LinkedIn. How? So by building a comprehensive profile that really accurately reflects your professional brand, you can use this search function to find these potential customers who match your ideal target market. Now, once you have identified these prospects, it's important to start engaging with them by sending personalized messages. This kind of helps start the conversation and build rapport with the prospect. You can also even engage with them further by liking and commenting on their posts, as well as sharing content that they find, maybe interesting or informative. Lastly, it is essential, and I mean essential because this is literally the most important part, to follow up after your initial conversations with these prospects. So this will help you to continue to build these relationships and establish this trust. And if you're running into time constraints like many of us do, there's a multitude of technologies and other solutions that'll help you stay on top of creating, posting, outreach, follow-up, video, and quite honestly, everything. If you have any kind of questions or want to understand, okay, what kind of technology is there out, just ask me. I have plenty of recommendations I can send you. All right. This is probably one of the more informative parts. How to use Sales Navigator. So I'm a huge fan of Sales Navigator because it does provide incredibly useful solutions for B2B prospecting. it allows for professionals like you and I to quickly and very easily identify valuable leads, create tailored campaigns, track customer engagement in real time, and analyze performance metrics to optimize your outreach efforts. And with Sales Nav, you can even utilize powerful features like account targeting, which enables you to target like specific accounts or industries with precision. I mean, it's pretty cool. Additionally, this also offers LinkedIn Insights, is what they call it. That'll provide valuable data on your prospects and your accounts, giving you this invaluable intelligence into their interests or buying habits. All these features make it really easy for you guys to reach out to potential customers very quickly and effectively, to be completely honest. You can do it effectively even while you're providing like actionable insights into that customer behavior. So that's pretty cool. And ultimately, this is just going to help ensure you can get the most ROI from your marketing activities when it's used strategically. So if you're looking for a powerful tool to boost your B2B sales, Sales Navigator is an excellent choice. I'm a huge fan of it.
Yeah.
Now, there are 3 versions: Sales Navigator Core, Advanced, and Advanced Plus. So Sales Navigator Core is the basic subscription tier, which provides access to sales intelligence such as profiles, lists, and insights. It also allows users to connect and collaborate with your teammates using the Team Link feature. So it also creates searches and lists and views Salesforce records in Sales Navigator. You can schedule emails with the auto send and get notifications on news alerts. Now, Sales Navigator Advanced adds more powerful features to help your teams work more effectively together. It includes shared lists so teams can collaboratively build contact lists, buyer intent alerts to gain insight into a company's interest in your product or solution, smart links so you guys can package content on a single link and then track the engagement of it. You can embed profile interactions using the snap function, and across your entire tech stack, you'll be able to do the same thing, and you'll be able to use the CRM integration with Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics 365, and HubSpot, right? Those are the 3 that it works with. And then, yes, yeah, last time I forgot HubSpot. I was like, man, I'm forgetting one, but it was HubSpot that I forgot last time. So Sales Navigator Advanced Plus is, what was that? Oh, sorry. Sales Navigator Advanced Plus is the highest subscription tier, supporting enterprise-grade functionality. It also includes all the features of Sales Navigator Advanced, as well as additional features that integrate CRM information into Sales Navigator and pushes Sales Navigator information into your CRM. For the majority of you, it will most likely, you're not going to need more than the Sales Navigator Core, which is $80 a month and has a free 1-month trial for you to test it out. I don't think it's really going to cost, I don't think it really makes sense for you to go beyond the Sales Navigator Core unless you have a big team.
There is one additional feature that I did want to touch up on is that Sales Navigator Advanced and Enterprise, right? Enterprise is for larger companies, and there's like a cool team link feature, as well as if you have multiple salespeople, it keeps them from overlapping, right? So if they reach out to one lead, you can also see that, hey, X and X owns that lead. Don't talk to that person. So there are some cool features there. But advanced, the one thing that if this is important to you, is if you have other lead sources. So let's say you have another lead source where you can download a CSV file of like emails and phone numbers and all that cool stuff. You can upload it into Sales Navigator Advanced, and it'll give you a list of all the people based off of their email and their company name. It'll show them in LinkedIn. So then you have kind of a full picture on what you have, and then you can re-download it. So if you only have emails and phone numbers, it'll enrich that data with their LinkedIn profile and other information. And then you can re-download it. So it's actually super powerful if that's something that you're kind of, on the fence about. You're like, I kind of want to be able to download some of this stuff too to enrich my own data.
Yeah.
You can use it for that. But like Michael said, Sales Navigator Core is perfect.
For the majority of you, it's just what you're going to use. So conducting research. So again, I'm just going to go through the bullet points here really quick. Start by doing keyword research, check out groups, look at the company pages, search for relevant articles, and identify your influencers in your industry. So in the B2B realm, conducting research on LinkedIn can be especially valuable, And by using keyword search and groups, you can target these businesses in your industry and learn more about their challenges and needs. Also, company pages will help you understand the size of your organization you may be targeting. By reading relevant articles through polls, you can stay up to date on the trends in your field. Lastly, also identify influencers. By doing this, it allows you to create, or I'm sorry, it allows you to see what thought leaders in your industry are talking about. With all this information at your hands, it enables you guys to even make the informed decisions when marketing your products or services. So, with a better understanding of your target markets, wants, and needs, you can create these tailored experiences and better serve them. Ultimately, this is the research that can help you increase your sales and grow your business because you're able to target them, like me and Caleb were talking about earlier, to take the next step further and really talk to the audience that you're trying to talk to. So social media is a very powerful tool to connect people, build relationships, and share information. It's a great way to get your brand out there and establish yourself as an authority in your chosen field. But one thing that many people overlook is the importance of establishing trust and credibility. On social media, it's not about pushing products or services in people's faces. It's about engaging with people in a meaningful way and building relationships that will last. For example, if someone follows you on social media, it's important to take the time to respond to their comments, answer their questions, or just have a conversation with them. Um, it's super simple to have a conversation with people. You do it all the time. So just take that step further and do it with that connection, someone that just followed you. This shows them that you care and you're willing to invest into the relationship. It's also a good idea to just share valuable content that relates to your field, show off your expertise you have a little bit. Doing this will help cultivate an audience that trusts you and values your opinion. So how to sell on LinkedIn. When it comes to selling on LinkedIn, building relationships is always key, like I've been talking about for the past few slides. The other day I was trying to connect with a potential customer. Instead of just saying this very generic message that I send to everyone, I took a few extra minutes to look on their profile, find something that they found very interesting or that I found interesting about them, like they were scuba certified. That to me, crazy, by the way. Did not know so many people were scuba certified. So went ahead, talked about that, asked them, hey, like, did you know you're scuba certified? No, I'm just kidding. No, but I did ask them why they got scuba certified because I was like, I've seen so many people recently that are scuba certified. I'm just trying to understand what trend I missed. Like, I don't get it. I don't know what I missed out on. But, doing this allowed me to start off the conversation on the right foot and put a more friendly face to my sales pitch. I also just shared some valuable content related to their industry that was kind of informative, not super salesy, to show them I valued them as potential customers, but I also am showing off my knowledge on the subject. And of course, throughout all this, just remain professional. Avoid language when you're doing this that can be interpreted as aggressive or super salesy. By taking the time to build these relationships and provide informative content and personalize the messages, of course, it's a super big piece. I was able to pull them into a Google Meet, got a little cute conversation going. Can't say that it led to anything, which is fine. It's not always going to lead to something. More often than not, it leads to an opportunity. It leads to a referral, leads to a sale, but not always. It's not going to happen every single time, and that's okay. But as you do this right, LinkedIn will become an effective way to sell your products and services, and it will continue to grow on itself. And I continue to have more of these one-off meetings where I'm able to get a partnership maybe started up. You never know where it could lead to. Everyone on LinkedIn is looking for something different. So if you want to make the most out of the presence on the platform, just be clear about what it is you have to offer. For example, if you're a software consultant that works with CPA firms, rather than just posting general updates about your product or services all of the time, think about your target audience and just tailor your post. Reach that specific group, talk to their pain points. If you become a solid resource for their problems, they will eventually start to pay attention to what you're doing, sharing, and they'll even engage with it. So reach out, start to understand what their pain points are, start to talk to it, create these posts that will talk to that persona. Also, make sure you include a strong call to action in your posts so that these potential customers can easily take that next step. This can be as simple as providing a link to your website or to a blog where they can just learn more about your services. Lastly, once you've made this connection with someone on LinkedIn, I would again encourage you just to take the conversation off the platform. Having an in-depth conversation about your products or your services over video, email, or even the phone This can help potential customers get a better understanding of what it is that you have to offer. And this is often the best way to show off your expertise and help customers make this very informed decision. So I just saw a really good question. If you want to speak to this, Caleb, this maybe you'll be able to have a better answer than me. I just popped it up on the screen here. What is your personal experience of selling on LinkedIn?
Yeah, it's changed. It's changed a lot. It's a very dynamic.
I agree.
When we started consulting about LinkedIn strategies and just how to better sell on LinkedIn, in 2019 is when we kind of started consulting on these things, but 2020 was kind of a big boom year because of COVID. People were home, and automated processes started coming into play, but not a lot of people were social selling on LinkedIn to begin with. And so it became a very new thing, meaning you could just put in, you could have 50 different templates, or, you could use the same template on 50 different people and probably book 5 meetings out of those 50 people. And there wasn't a lot of follow-up that was involved. And then it started to evolve into, okay, now you need to start following up with these prospects because they're starting to get, ahead of it. And they're like, oh, this is all a template. But you could still just use templates for those follow-ups.
Yeah.
And then it kind of evolved around 2021, late 2021, early 2022, where people started to catch on that, like, okay, my time is valuable. My time matters. Michael and I were actually talking about this, and he brought this point up to me. Like, time matters. Even views, even liking a post. Like, we've come to this point in our society where, like, we understand that our time is valuable, our engagement is valuable. And so you're less likely to, respond to a message that says, hey, person, I work with other people in your, industry, and we've helped them do X and X things. If that is important to you, we should talk. That script honestly used to work. It worked 3 years ago. Now people are like, everybody and their mother hits me up probably 50 times a week on LinkedIn saying the exact same thing. So why shouldn't I go with them? Like, I ignore them. I mean, I ignore people like that. And so it's evolved, and we've kind of figured out this. We've figured out the strategy very well, that whenever we reach out to people, it has almost nothing to do with what we do. It has nothing to do with what we do. It's building connections on LinkedIn. And like what Michael said, going into their profile and digging in, even their Instagram, their Facebook, like looking at certain things, don't be, but like things that are actually relevant to them and actually matter. We've booked so many calls, and amazing calls too, that either ended up into becoming business or even referrals. And don't knock referrals. I think a lot of salespeople miss that too, is they're like, oh, I had this conversation, but they can't afford me, and I'm not going to follow up with them anyways. And you just throw them away. It's almost like you're on a dating app and you're just like, oh yeah, that went okay, but on to the next, right? Like, you just forget about them. And
Thank you, next.
We're successful 10 years later, and you're like, oh my gosh, I fumbled that. And so it's very much like that, where you're building relationships. And what does relationship building mean? I'm connecting with you. I'm saying something that actually would resonate to you. And then I say, hey, I truly believe in building relationships on LinkedIn. I want nothing from you, but let's just get on a call for 15 minutes. I want to learn about what you do. So then maybe I can refer you business. And what happens is you both tell each other what you do. And then they might be like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for this for a long time. Actually, I need help with my webinar building and my LinkedIn strategies. That's something I've actually been looking into. Just had a call yesterday. I met this guy at some like random place in Colorado. He was like, hey, yeah, I'd love to book a call. We talked about it. Or we just talked about like standard things. Do that on LinkedIn. So then it's more of like a handshake, situation. If you treat LinkedIn like you just met them at a coffee shop and you're just like, whoa, dude, I love your shirt, or like you're complimenting them, and then you're having a good quality conversation, like, yo, we should totally hang out sometime. You're actually kind of a cool person. You never know. I mean, friendships have been built on this platform. So my personal experience, that was a long-winded way of saying it. My personal experience of selling on LinkedIn, it's changed. It went from just this, like, here's what I do, book a call with me, let's see if we can sell you something, to more like, I actually want to build friendships and relationships, referral partnerships potentially. Or maybe you could even come on to a podcast that, I know somebody who runs a really cool podcast. You might be interested in that. I know somebody who, you said, you said you needed a new benefits plan. I know tons of people that do that. Here's a list of just different providers. So you start becoming someone who's actually providing value versus somebody who just clearly wants to sell.
Yeah. I appreciate you taking the head on that one. That was a lot more.
There's a lot more juice I could talk about on that because
I was going to say that's more than I would have even said.
I get super passionate about it because it's just.
That's great. I would rather that be the answer than something short and simple. Like I want more personality in the reply. So I like that. So social selling on LinkedIn can be a great way for you to engage with your audience, build relationships. Leveraging LinkedIn polling, asking fun, exciting questions, starting a conversation. These things are really like you guys, again, talking to what Caleb was talking about a little bit earlier, you guys aren't looking at this the right way. Like if you use polling to start that interaction and allow people to start like, okay, are they interacting? No, let's get a poll out. Let's ask them what their favorite ice cream is. What's your favorite pizza? Or ask like polarizing questions. Like, do you like pineapple on pizza? If the answer is not no, you're wrong. I'm just letting you know. But like you can ask these
pineapple on pizza is amazing. It's fantastic, and you're wrong.
As someone who's a professional in that industry, no, it's terrible to put on the pizzas. It's like slimy.
Just because you have a domino sign in your room doesn't mean you're get out of here. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. My bad. So use LinkedIn Live to host live broadcasts like we're doing right now. This allows you to kind of interact with your audience in real time, just like we're answering questions here. Like you're able to provide this conversation. Try listicle posts, break down what's being said. When you're able to do that, you're able to kind of break down these complex topics into easy to read format, into this easy read format. This will help you also engage the audience for people who are maybe a little bit newer. Leverage thought leadership posts. Share your insight and your expertise on these specific topics. A lot of what me and Caleb talk about and a lot of what we tell people to start utilizing is your presence. If you have 20 years of experience, speak to that experience. Share what you know. As soon as people can see that you're a credible source for all this, they're going to take you seriously. But you need to show that you're serious and you really know what you're talking about. Otherwise, why would they give you a time of day? They don't have to. So make sure you're out there making yourself a thought leader in all this. So try a resource or a webinar. This can kind of, help you kind of engage in that real time, like we were saying earlier. Tell a personal story, connect with your audience on that personal level. Right now, I can't explain why, but selfies are performing really well on LinkedIn. So if you can post a selfie here and there or just a personal picture, it's going to go pretty far. Constantly post relevant, engaging content with your target market. Again, make sure what this means is it means when you're posting, make sure it's talking to that exact persona that you want to reach out to. Engage with other users by liking, commenting, sharing, all this stuff. Again, the 411. Make sure that if you post one piece of promotional content, the 4 other pieces of your content are not promotional, that you're talking to other people, you're engaging with your audience. If you don't do that, it's just going to look like you're only self-promoting, and no one wants to talk to a guy who only talks about himself all the time. I promise. So, battling time poverty, because a lot of us are. So, for many of you, you'll be able to take everything that I share with you today, implement it, be consistent, while others of you may struggle on the technical or even creative sides. Either way, we all struggle with having enough time to do it all, from profile copywriting to content creation, graphic design, post management, community management, advertising, campaign planning, or target research. It's hard to do everything. So make sure to reach out to me here at Growbot so I can provide a helping hand. If you want to even ask Caleb a question or reach out to him, he is also someone that you can reach out to. Now, I want all of you to think, you do not have to put this in the chat, think in your head on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the green guy, 1 being the red guy. Where do you find yourself? If you're near the red, reach out. I'm more than happy to provide an insight. If you feel like you're a 4 or a 5, great. Sounds like you're doing everything right. Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to see success. If you're anywhere on this and you're just like, you know what, I want to hear what you have to say, feel free to reach out. I'll only pull up my email on the screen here. Caleb's is just caleb@growbot.online if you want to reach out to him as well, CALEB. So if you want to reach out to either of us, we can schedule some time with you and talk and just kind of go through, understanding what is next steps? What do I need to do to better myself? How do I make myself even more of a thought leader? How can I position myself in front of my industry so people will take me seriously? All these things are serious questions, and we're more than happy to show you what that means.
And if a consultation right off the rip isn't something that you're totally, open to as of right now, that's what that QR code is down over there. You're going to be able to download a document that's going to teach you how to write just better converting copy on LinkedIn. This could be profile information as well as just connection information from our best practices that we've created. So, sometimes having a consultation right off, the go isn't something that you're going to want right away, and that's totally okay. But one announcement that I do want to make is pretty soon being around the 1 to 2 months away mark, we're going to start doing workshops that are a little bit more intimate. So as people start coming to these webinars, you can have a workshop where you can work one-on-one with us. We've developed a pretty cool kit that takes every single point from this slide right here, and it's a checklist. It's a checklist of everything that we just talked about, where you can look at it and see, am I doing this? And then we'll go ahead and help you actually build out your LinkedIn profile to be as effective as possible. And this will be like a 1 to 2 hour session, super intimate, super cool. We're only allowing 10 people to be a part of that at once because it's just going to be at scale and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then any additional people that want to come in, we will have a price associated to that. But I just thought that I would let you know that's
prepare you. You guys get the early bird access right now.
Yeah, early bird access. So if you do want to join that, put down W. Just put a W down in the chat if you want to be a part of it. But yeah, we're going to start doing more intimate workshops to start taking from these presentations and actually making it actionable for you.
Yeah. All right. I see a really good question. Caleb, I know I've had you do all of them, but I'm going to keep doing it. So this person asked, what are the biggest mistakes you see people often make on their profiles? I would say there's probably a lot. So Caleb, probably think of like your top 2 or top 1 that you see the most common mistakes you see people make.
I think the most common mistake people make is that they don't use their LinkedIn. They don't think of their LinkedIn profile as like a converting landing page.
Yes,
most people, especially I think students, make this mistake a lot when they come out of college because they have these professors that have never worked in the business world in their lives and tell you how your LinkedIn profile is supposed to look. I'm not dogging college. It's just like your professors and your universities should not be teaching you how to make a LinkedIn profile that's going to convert into the business world, because all they know is that, it's like a resume. It's like an online resume. Their job is to get you a job. Like that's college, and that's how that is. And I've been to college, and it's awesome. But I see the biggest mistake people will make is that they'll just put like their experience, and like experience that isn't really that relevant because they haven't been in the work, place yet. I mean, anything I guess works. But if you're really going to try to make an impression and stand out, even if you're just trying to get a job, I would highly recommend taking what we've taught you versus just, this is what I do, no headline, here's my resume, like putting the resume just straight up on the page. They haven't even put any work into it. They just put a PDF on their feature. Like, here's my resume. This is what I do. You should hire me. You should work with me. So I think the biggest mistake that I see people make is they don't try.
Let me interrupt you for a second. Also, to go off of what Caleb was saying, do not ever put a downloadable PDF on your profile, please. No one will click on that. I just do want to add that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's really it. So the biggest mistakes that I see people make on their profiles is they put zero effort into it and they don't understand the purpose. I mean, if they're not trying to sell on LinkedIn, then you don't have to, right? Or if you're not starting a business, or if you're not, in a consultative role, I guess it doesn't really matter. But most people that work in the business realm today, that's important. If you're just, somebody who's a service person working in the background and you do like call center stuff, it might be less important on trying to sell on LinkedIn, but wouldn't you still want to stand out? What if you want a better call center job in the future? Like, stand out against the crowd, and you can take some of these things that we've taught you and implement it regardless if you're trying to sell on LinkedIn or not.
Yeah, 100%. Great. Thank you so much for answering that, Caleb. All right. So as we have come here to an end, guys, thank you all for staying here. For all of you who have been here, thank you for your participation, your questions. I love the questions. I'm going to leave this going for about 5 more minutes to allow people to kind of just funnel out. Thank you so much for everyone who was a part of this. Thank you, Caleb, for coming on and talking a little bit, answering these questions. I hope you guys all have a wonderful week. If you have any questions, the email's on screen. Caleb's email, just replace Michael with Caleb, again, CALEB. Yep, or put it in chat. That works too. Also, don't forget to scan the QR code for the book. Sign up, get that book. It's awesome. I spent a lot of time working on it, so I hope you guys enjoy it. If you have any questions about it, comments, feedback, I want to hear all of it. So please do let me know what you think about it. More than happy to hear it all. Again, thank you, Caleb, for coming on here. Hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend and enjoy your Fridays.